who you fought, and who would you say that Fury would be most like that you fought?
I would have to say Evander Holyfield.
Okay. And for Fury, anybody that stylistic, that big?
It's hard to compare that one because I never fought nobody that big.
Never fought anybody that big. So when you prepared to fight a guy like Evander Holyfield, and you knew what his strengths were and what his weaknesses were, did it make it much more difficult because you had to overcome what you knew his greatness was?
No, not really. I used to fought Evander Holyfield, so I guess I pretty much knew what to expect. I pretty much knew what to expect, and I think that's why our fights were so good.
All right, Ernie, you're best remembered, obviously, for your great fights with Muhammad Ali. You're the only man up on this panel right here who fought against Muhammad Ali. And when we think about the heavyweight championship of the world and we think about an iconic figure, it automatically goes to Ali. So you fought in the golden era of heavyweight boxing. And now you see what we all believe is a resurgence in the heavyweight title with Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder. How do you think those guys would stack up in that era and stack up amongst the greatest and some of these fighters that you fought?
Well, naturally I fought in the, like I said, good era, great era. See, I don't follow the fight game that close enough, so I don't know. But I think it would have been a good fight. When you fight guys on the same level, guys that Ali and Larry Holmes, can't know it myself, and the guys that fighting today, it'd be a good fight. Because they produce good fighters, so it'll be a good show.
When you look back on those days, what do you remember most about particularly your fight with Muhammad?
Well, Muhammad was in a lot of speed. He was a good friend, first of all. Before I fought him, I met him in '73. I fought him in '77. He had a lot of speed, but he couldn't hurt you. Larry Holmes had a better jab, very, very powerful. So after, it was a great fight, not only because the whole world had their eyes on you for at least 1 hour. It was great. You
were considered in your day, I mean, I can hear Howard Cosell. Here comes the acorn, Ernie Shavers. Look at that power. Look at that size. That man can deliver quite a wallop. Good Lord. Get out of the way. When you see Deontay Wilder throw that right hand.
You said what now?
When you see Deontay Wilder uncork his right hand with those 39 knockouts.
Oh, yeah.
Remind you of yourself? Does he have that type of power?
Yeah, he's a good puncher. We both from the South, so probably learned to have a lot of background more than other fighters. Yeah. I wish him all the best.
Michael Spinks, nice to see you, sir.
Good to see you, too.
Of all the folks up here, perhaps you and Buster Douglas were the most unlikely of heavyweight champions going into your fight, particularly against Larry Holmes. You were considered much smaller, and it was to be a coronation, really, for Larry to try and get up there with Marciano, was my recollection of how that fight was sold. So when you get into the ring and there are so many doubters, and each of these fighters tomorrow think that they're doubters. Fury thinks that people are doubting him because what he's been through. Deontay feels he hasn't gotten the recognition in the 10 years. People doubt him. When there are all of these doubters, what's your frame of mind as you enter the ring so that you're not doubting yourself?
Well, you just go on what you know. You go on what you know, and how you represent yourself in the ring, you know. And you just you don't pay any attention to the doubters. You just you know what you prepared yourself for, and you get on up in the ring and you just give it your all.
Did it provide you with a chip on your shoulder, an extra added incentive?
No. It kind of drove me crazy, you know, wondering, trying to see the fight in my dreams. You know, I'm dreaming about the fight. I'm seeing myself. I'm trying to see myself win, but I'm seeing myself getting up off the canvas. I'm seeing myself. I'm seeing myself winning the fight, but I don't know quite how I'm going to win the fight. But it's kind of crazy, you know. But you end up talking to yourself and saying, "The hell with it. I just got to get knocked out." Yeah, if that'll happen. But I saw myself winning, but I didn't know how.
Explain the elation to everybody all these years later when you were victorious in that fight at the Hilton. Can you explain what that feeling was?
The feeling that when I won?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, that was a great feeling. Not to get your tail whooped. You don't get beat up. You know, you go in and you go in one way, you come out the same, and no bruises, no bumps, no cuts. That's a great feeling. It's a great feeling to come out of the ring victorious. Yeah.
Lennox Lewis, you had an iconic fight here at the Staples Center. The last great heavyweight fight to take place was you and Klitschko. And the fight was stopped. And I was at that fight, and I don't remember what the card said, but it was my feeling at the time the fight was stopped that you were behind up until that point. Michael Spinks just talked about doubt. We talked about doubt a few minutes ago. When you're in a fight, do you know you're losing? Do you doubt yourself?
No, I think if you're in a fight, obviously, you know, a concern. You're always concerned because when you go back to your corner and they go, you know, you lost that round and you thought you won it. It's like that's all of a sudden that panic sets in. So there was a couple panic situations where I thought I won that round. And they said I lost it, so I had to go out there, you know, in a different mindset to win the next few rounds.
When you were fighting at the Staples Center, was there something about being in Los Angeles, the land of the stars, that propelled you to even greater stardom? Because this is where everybody comes, their dreams in hand, many of them leave shattered, but those who make it are forever remembered and put up on a higher pedestal. Is there something special about having a fight here in Los Angeles, and what did it mean to you in your career?
You know, I would say there's a couple meccas in boxing that everybody wants to fight, where they want to fight. Obviously, when I was boxing, you know, it was Vegas. Everybody wanted to fight in Vegas. The next mecca is actually New York. Next one is Los Angeles. So, you know, being able to fight in all these special places is great. You know, I can actually look back in history and say, hey, man, I actually fought there and had a good fight. Now, when the fights happen in these places, you may have a good fight or a bad fight, so it may be a bad memory or a good memory. And you may say to yourself, man, I had a bad fight there, I don't want to fight there again. But that really doesn't really determine that. It's really who's paying the most money for your fight. So if Los Angeles is giving you a great venue and giving you a great deal to have a fight there, that's where the fight's going to be, because it's going to be more profitable for you. So, you know, obviously Los Angeles, I've boxed there one time. I thought it was a good fight. I enjoyed myself in that fight, and you know, I wasn't boxing that fight for it to go the distance. I was boxing it to go a short distance, and it did.
Evander Holyfield, great to see you, giving us all so many thrills. Evander, when you look back at the heavyweight division and what has gone on since the days of yourself and Mike Tyson, we now have an American champion once again with Deontay Wilder. What do you think has happened to American heavyweights, and what do you think that Deontay represents that goes back to what was very prevalent and mainstream in the heavyweight division while you guys were fighting, but then was taken away by Lennox and Klitschko and so forth?
Well, it's obvious that you know, I was last United States champion, but when I lost the decision against Lennox, then it seemed like boxing started falling off ahead of time, you know, the amateur boxing. I think when you no longer helping the amateur program, everything started fading. I think that what happened. At one point in time, every great big guy was from United States because we had a very good amateur program. And so, you know, when you're a kid, you don't know if you're going to get big, but I was told that I could be the heavyweight champion of the world when I weighed 65 pounds. And, you know, the man and I told the man, I'm only 8. He said, you won't always be 8. And he's right. I'm telling you, in life, when you start at a young age, you'll grow. And so, and I think that you got more kids today get in boxing when they get big, more so than grow up as a kid. You know, I'm 8 years old boxing. So I learned how to box. So when I became a heavyweight, you know, I had the skills and stuff to compete with the big guys. And I think because the amateur program hadn't been too great in America, kind of killed the big guys. And so now, you know, we got another guy. You know, Deontay, he don't have as much experience as we did, but he had the power. And I think that's what people want to see. And I think the people are going to be happy.
Let's bring in Buster Douglas. Buster, what I've always wanted to ask you, so I guess I will right now, is what's it like to walk around and be a real life Rocky Balboa?
Well, it's a dream come true, you know, a childhood dream come true. I'd like to speak on a little bit what Evander was just saying about the amateur boxing program. I also came up in the amateur boxing program, started at 10-year-old, and had aspirations of maybe one day being a heavyweight champion as Muhammad Ali. And having a strong amateur background helped me achieve that goal. And the amateur boxing program, I'm actually back involved with it in Columbus, Ohio. And it's coming back, and it's coming back in a strong way. More kids are coming in the gym and being involved, and it's great to see because, you know, it has fallen off quite a bit in the last decade or so. But, you know, now that the the amateur program is coming back, you're going to start seeing more and more American fighters, you know, in the heavyweight division again like it once was many years ago. But you know, having a strong amateur background is definitely what helped me overcome a lot of obstacles in my professional career.
I was fortunate enough to interview Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon, and Gene Cernan, the last man on the moon. And I asked them both a question, when you've been to the moon, what else in your life ever compares? And they both said, well, really nothing. You just don't tell anybody. So I'm wondering, since that huge night and that great victory against Mike Tyson, how much did it change your life? And what in your life would ever compare to having that form of immortality for the rest of your days?
Well, it changed my life in a great way because I was now the heavyweight champion of the world, a childhood dream come true. And to top that, I would have to say it was seeing my 2 youngest kids being born. It was a great feeling of accomplishment. And you know, that would be just outside of being a heavyweight champion was a great accomplishment for me.
Buster, not to bring back a bad memory, but you had tremendous weight gain as you got ready for your fight with Evander Holyfield and had to battle with your weight to get into shape for that fight that you lost in your first defense after you had beaten Tyson. We have now seen Tyson Fury have tremendous fluctuation, gain tremendous amounts of weight as he has gone through his battle with his mental problems, mental health issues. And how difficult is it when you have that weight issue and then you have to get into a ring against a very formidable opponent?
Well, I feel Tyson has already won because he's battled back, got himself in great shape, and he's back in this position to fight for the heavyweight championship again. Because I know once he had put on all that weight after winning the title, you know, I'm sure many of us thought that it would never see him again in the ring. And it's a victory in itself for him to be back in this point, getting ready to fight for the heavyweight championship. So in itself, that's a victory. Now it's just a matter of fulfilling the dream tomorrow night. So he's made great strides and accomplishments to be where he is today.
Thank you, Buster. Gerry, Cooney?
I can't remember.
You can't remember? Okay, well, we'll move on. You know, it's always portrayed when a white man comes along now as being the great white hope, as a throwback to the days many, many years ago with some of the great white champions.
Right.
And you came along, and Dwayne Bobbitt and a few others, and it was always put on you, your race. Not assigned by you, but that became the moniker that you had to fill. So now we have Tyson Fury. There has not been much race in this event. There's been some mentions here and there. But is there an added pressure when you're a white man when African Americans and blacks have dominated that championship and that place for so long?
I just want to tell you a quick story that all came down to the night that Larry Holmes and I were in the center of the ring, and Mills Lane was giving us instructions, and Larry said to me, "Let's have a good fight." But aside from that, my wife sent away, my saliva to find out what, and found out my grandfather's mother was African American, so it was a lie. It was a lie. It was a lie. I didn't like that.
Boy,
listen, I'm so
Ancestry.com, she invented it.
Listen, I'm so grateful to be up here with this. Look at these guys, would you please? All the greatest guys, Riddick, Bowe, Earnie, Shaver, Spinks. I mean, it's just crazy, and they're all here to watch this fight.
You got that exactly right. But was there pressure on you because of that?
No.
And do you think there's pressure on Tyson Fury now because of that?
Let me tell you something, right? Like, I was in a dream. Like, I had 6 or 7 kids I grew up with. I never heard about racism and all that. I had 6 guys that went to school. We hung out. We had a great time. I was getting a chance to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world. The only problem that happened for me was that in 1981, I knocked out Kenny Norton in 54 seconds of the first round. And I think something hit me there, and I relate to Tyson Fury, because I guess I got scared, and I started drinking, and I started messing around with some recreational drugs. And I realized, looking back, that was the end of my career. The night I knocked out Kenny Norton, because I lost my focus. And I started to drink alcohol and mess around with some drugs, and I forgot to keep the focus. And so I'm glad to be here today with you, because I know Tyson Fury has lost 150 pounds. He put down his drugs and alcohol. But is it long enough between him and the booze and the drugs to have a catch up with his brain? Because it takes the reason why he picked up the drugs and the alcohol, because he somewhere wrong, he couldn't figure it out. And so, does he have enough time from then to now to be able to be in the ring with Deontay Wilder? That's the question we got to find out. And I took a fight early in recovery with George Foreman, and I got caught with a shot, and I didn't win the fight, but it helped me to move on. But it's a big deal when you use alcohol and drugs to get out of your pain and your fear and whatever it is. To learn about that stuff takes years. And so can Tyson Fury do that? Listen, I think he's a great man to stand up to Deontay Wilder, where the last 3 or 4 fights, he was supposed to fight Wilder. They tested positive for drugs. He couldn't fight. How frustrating is that for a guy like him who wants to fight? And you know what? Tyson Fury said, yeah, stand up, I'm going to fight you. So maybe he knows something we don't know. But I'm proud for boxing, and I'm glad to be here with all these great guys, because they all have those stories.
Lennox,
I wasn't finished. No, I'm kidding.
Lennox, what is the view back in the United Kingdom? Enlighten us, since you spend a lot of time there. Obviously, we know you live in Canada, but you spend a lot of time back in Britain. What is the view of Tyson Fury over there?
You know, I think the view is that Tyson Fury is the man that stepped up. You know, the gauntlet was thrown out there, and he basically stood up for the British side in the sense that, he wanted to challenge Deontay. Deontay came to England to challenge Anthony Joshua. Joshua never answered the call, so Tyson Fury answered the call. And, you know, I was going to say about his problems, sometimes, you know, problems can be good. You know, to lose the heavyweight championship, you know, we all know how it feels to lose that. And we know how hard it is to gain it back. But we know how it feels to lose it. He's lost it. Now he wants it back. So I see him sacrificing by going to camp, by losing the weight, saying to himself, this is something I lost. I shouldn't have lost it. Now I'm going to regain it. So that's where I think his head's at, that he wants to get it back and he wants to prove everybody wrong. And, you know, he's in the position to do that.
I'm just going to go down. Let me ask Evander Holyfield. Evander, you fought everybody, and Lennox just brought this up. Can you understand another heavyweight with the title and not wanting to take a fight with the other champion after you fought everybody, no matter who they were, where it was at, bigger, stronger, faster, more powerful? Can you understand why a champion would not want to fight another champion?
No, I wouldn't. I think that realistic, you know, to be the heavyweight champion of the world and to say you be the best, you'll fight any guy, I guess, for the right amount. Like that, I wouldn't fight for nothing because I don't fight for free. But
would 50 million have been the right amount?
well, yeah, I would have been there. I've been there. I would say yes.
Let's show a raise of hands here. Would any of you, as a champion, not have fought any other man at any time? How many of you would have fought anybody if you were a champion? Just raise your hands. Ernie? Would you, if you were the champion, would you have taken on anybody else?
Oh, yeah.
Get the microphone.
I had no problem. I don't care who cared the world. All I want to see is the contract and how much I can pay. We have a fight.
You know, I look, we're gladiators, you know, we're in a gladiator sport. So, you know, we take on all comers because we want to prove that we're the best. When we say to ourselves, oh, I don't want to box that guy, you know, all of a sudden there's an alert. Why doesn't he? You know, I thought you're the best. You're supposed to fight all comers. So that's the way it should be.
Yeah, but Jim, listen, why would, I mean, it's not just definitely Joshua. Maybe Eddie Hearn doesn't want to put him in with a guy like Wilder when he's selling 80,000 people seats over there fighting B-rated guys like Povetkin.
The public does not care about promoters. The public does not care about television networks.
Not necessarily Joshua.
Well, at some point, the fighter has to take over for himself.
And that's boxing. At some
All right,
point.
Let's go down the line. We'll start with Riddick Bowe.
So,
did you handle your own affairs, or did you just listen to whatever they told you?
I want to know, are you saying that you wouldn't duck anybody then?
No, well, that's the game, right?
You listened to what they told you, or you took over and said, this is what I want to do?
No, I didn't do that. I listened to what they told me.
If they told you, no matter what it was, that's the direction that you went?
Yes, sir.
Why? This is tremendous insight here. Why?
Of course, that's their job. And so I didn't want to break it up, but I wish I would have, so I could have fought Lennox Lewis.
Ernie, did you do what people around you, who managed you, who you felt had your best interest at hand, did you tell them what to do, or did they tell you what to do?
They told me what to do, and I did it. So they were expert on the sport, not more than I was, so I didn't take any chances. I did what they told me to do.
Did you ever disagree with that and give them your input?
Very, very seldom. If I do, I can't remember.
Why wouldn't you?
Because they were training me. They've been in the fight game a lot. I mean, they had knowledge of it, so they tell me to do it, I go out and do it.
Michael, you and Leon had some great advisors. Did you guys listen to them all the time, or did you take control of your own career?
Yeah, we listened to them the majority of the time because they had knowledge of what they were doing, and we trusted that.
Lennox?
Yeah, no, for me, I was obviously leading my own career, so I actually told my manager who I wanted to fight.
Evander? Jim Thomas tell you what to do, or you tell Jim?
I know, no, it wasn't. It was Lou Duva.
Lou Duva,
Tell
okay.
me, you know, so if he told me to fight somebody, I'd fight him because Lou. I didn't choose none to fight him. I didn't want to do that because I was afraid I'd choose somebody that beat me and I'd be mad. So I didn't choose nobody.
Buster?
Well, unfortunately, I chose. So I chose to fight this man because I wanted to fight the best. And it was just that my camp went with it.
Gerry?
Thanks, Jimmy. Unfortunately, I had two managers that didn't care about developing me as a fighter. They wanted to make the big fight with Holmes. So I was fighting in my heyday once a year. I mean, come on. And that's what happened. And I got caught up in that, and what went on went on. But listen, these guys will fight anybody, and I would too. I was speaking to Andre Ward. He said, if they offered you $100 million to fight Joshua, would you do it? I said, yeah, I would do it. He said, so would I. That's what fighters do, right?
All right, let's go down the line and let's talk about the fight tomorrow night. And we'll start at the opposite end. We'll start with you first on this one, Gerry.
Thank you. Waiting for that, bro.
I'll count you down when we've had enough. But
Hey.
how do you see tomorrow night's fight?
I think it's a great fight tomorrow night. I feel, Wilder has seen something in order for him to take. Fury has seen something in Wilder in order to agree to take that fight. Obviously, we know that Fury is coming back. He's lost a lot of weight. He's back in shape. He needs to be motivated. See, when he knocked out beat Klitschko, that was his motivation. After that fight, he had no goals. So now he's got a goal again. Can he keep his hands up? Can he protect himself? Can he use that jab to keep Wilder away? That's the story. If he can't, Wilder's going to find that home plate. And if Wilder finds that home plate, he's going to take Fury out. Because if you remember a couple years ago, Fury fought Cunningham in the Garden, a cruiserweight, light heavyweight, who dropped Fury with a right hand. But he wasn't even known as a puncher. Wilder is a devastating puncher, and when he's going to catch you, he's going to take you out of there. And we're going to see, can the guys get inside? I mean, the amateur program is gone because I think boxing stopped being on regular television. It's on HBO, Showtime, pay-per-view. All the kids that didn't get a chance to watch it, they're coming back now. And they got to learn that part of the game is body punching. Get to the body. Take the body out, then the hands fall down.
We consider ourselves regular television.
I'm still talking to you. Oh! No, I'm just kidding, Jimmy. I'm just kidding. That's all. Listen, I got to tell you something. I'm so glad to be here with these guys. I can't wait for this fight. For me, I think that Wilder will find the spot. Wilder's going to connect with him sometime during that fight, and we got to see how Fury stands up to that.
So who's your pick?
I'm not ready for that yet. I got to pick Deontay Wilder. Sometime he's going to find the spot on Tyson Fury's jaw and knock him out. I think somewhere between 3 and 6 rounds.
We're going to get to Lennox Lewis because that's going to be the most fascinating pick of all time. But it's your turn now, Buster Douglas. Your turn, sir. How do you see tomorrow night's fight?
Well, I say it's going to be a great fight. We got 2 competitive fighters, and I'm picking Deontay Wilder in 8 rounds.
It's an honor to see you, Buster. Thank you for coming. Evander?
Well, I feel that Deontay will win. I think that eventually he get the right hand. I think he's very patient. I think that people think that if he don't get him, he's not gonna know what to do. But he's a thinker. He's a thinker, and he's the type of guy that take chances. When people take chances, they win. And I think that he's one of the people that take a lot of chances, so he'll find a way to win.
Now I want you all to listen very closely to this. because if you can decipher this, you all should get on a plane to Vegas right now. Who's going to win, Lennox?
I think it's going to be a great fight. I think Deontay Wilder has a terrific right hand, a powerful right hand. If that lands, not many people can stand up to it. I also think you can't hurt what you can't hit. Tyson Fury is not an easy person to hit. He's 6'9", and he's all over the place, so I don't think he's going to catch up with him early. I think if he catches up with him and hits him with a right hand, he may go. But if he doesn't, then Tyson Fury, you know, has a lot of boxing ability, a great movement, and great reflexes. So it's going to be difficult to catch him.
So who's your pick?
So I say Deontay early, Tyson Fury late.
So who's your pick?
What a politician we got here.
I picked the good-looking guy.
Neither of them, so who's your pick?
I will not be forced to make a decision. Nobody can force me to make a decision right now. I think it's going to be a terrific fight, explosive, and you know, really, who lands the right hand first, because you're talking about two heavyweights that weigh over 230 pounds. Any right hand from any one of them will hurt, will affect both of them. So, you know, it's who actually has the accuracy and the precision to land the greatest punch first.
Thank you, Lennox. Very entertaining. Appreciate you coming. The great Michael Spinks. How do you see tomorrow's fight?
Well, I just thought of just a pick 'em, maybe the best man win. I don't know who is in the best of shape. My man, I heard he had been out of the ring for like 2 years, so Fury, I was like thinking less of him and more of Deontay Wilder. But if he's as tall as they say he is, I mean, I haven't really seen him in person, but like I said, it's a pick 'em. I'll say may the best man win.
Thank you, Michael.
You got it.
Ernie Shavers. I fought them all. I whooped the Acorn. I whooped the Big Bear. Sonny Liston. The Thriller in Manila. Ernie Shavers.
Well, I'm going to have to go with Deontay. He's from Alabama. I'm from Alabama. I'll be inducting the Hall of Fame in Alabama very soon. He will be there, so I'm going to put him for him.
It's great to see you, Ernie. Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Riddick Bowe, who do you like tomorrow night and why?
Deontay Wilder. He's going to hit him and he's going to sleep.
Thank you all. It's an honor to see you all. Really appreciate you taking the time. If you all would step forward and take a photo. We look forward to the fight tomorrow night at Staples Center.